Good afternoon. Welcome all to Smart Trucking Live. Thank you for joining us all today. Glad you could be here. It's kind of a cool one out. Good day to sit around and chew the fat. First comment up is HT103. Hi, Dave. What are your thoughts on the 2021 Mack Anthem? And then I see further down that Paul Hudson, talks about 5 new Mack Anthems that somebody he knew bought, and they've had nothing but trouble with them. And this brings to mind my favorite Mack story, and Josh Bulldog's here. Sorry, Josh, I got to tell this story. It was told to me by the Lettuce King, who was working at a construction company at the time, and they had a brand new Mack Anthem cement mixer. And the engine quit on this brand new Anthem cement mixer, and when the engine quits, the PTO quits, and the barrel quits turning. The cement all hardened in the barrel, and they ended up having to write off the truck, and they were in court with Mack fighting as to whether or not Mack was going to warranty that. But can you imagine? But in Mack's defense, I don't think it's just the Macks that have had trouble with these new engines. I think everyone's been having trouble with them. But that's a favorite Mack story from the Lettuce King. Paul Hudson's in Frigid, Illinois. Minus 13 Fahrenheit this morning. Yeah, it's cool here too. It was like minus 27 Celsius this morning here. But chilly enough. Fred Bismer's here. Good day, Dave, Nick, and Kat. The radio voice of Smart Trucking, bringing up the rear of the Freedom Convoy 2022 here from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Fred, I hope you're headed the right way, but you got a ways to go to catch up, I think.
We're looking to go,
but
we don't know where to meet them.
We're actually trying to find out the route that they're going to use coming in from Western Canada, so we can go up to like North Bay or whatever and film them. But we haven't been able to discover the route for this convoy. Some of them say they're going through Sudbury and down to Toronto. Some of them say that they're going to go through North Bay to Ottawa, but we haven't really found out the right route. But we'd like to go out and film them and watch them and wave if we can figure out which way they're going. So it's called supporting them, says Kathy, and that's right. Shannon's here. Hey, Shannon. I've got to go to the doctor. Have a great day. Shannon, thanks for dropping in. Hope all goes well at the doctor's. Lettuce King is here. Good day, guys, from the Lettuce King. We were just talking about one of your stories there, Lettuce King. James Cheek, good afternoon, Smart Trucking team. Hope all is well. I'm still in quarantine myself with COVID. James, man, I hope that wraps up soon for you. It's kind of boring being in quarantine, I can tell you that. Been there, done that. John Burnham, I'm now taking a liking to the industry. A Pete 389 is what I'm trying to obtain one day with a 6NZ too. Well, that's about as nice a truck as money can buy these days, John. Be a beautiful ride. Grilled Mortal. 2 gallons of used motor oil down the stacks helps prevent rust, but the driver might get mad. Yeah, that would prevent rust, but you know what I did with my stacks, and it turned out to be a mistake, was I ended up Z-barding the inside of my pipes, and my pipes are a 3-piece. There's an elbow and a centerpiece, and then there's the top stack. Well, the Z-barding lubricated the joints so much that my elbows started to come loose and drop off the stack. So I had to fight with that for a little while, but hopefully it'll prevent rusting inside my pipes, which is why I lost the last set of elbows there, and I had to replace the elbows because they rusted out. And I thought, well, I'm not going to let that happen again. So I poured Z-bart down them, but the elbows separated from the centerpiece. Anyhow. Headed to Salt Lake City again. Roger Penske. Hey, Roger, how are you doing? How's things down at the port? Sandus Turner here. I'm currently in Wyandotte, Michigan. Headed to Georgia. Sandus, you're headed in the right direction. It can only get warmer from there, so not a bad way to be going. Rick Paquette stuck in Morris, Illinois at the TA with my passenger side window stuck open. It's freezing out here. Yeah, we just had a report that it was minus 13 there this morning. So, Rick, I feel your pain. Those guys, that's a good shop, though. I've used that shop plenty of times at Morris, and they're good guys. They'll help you out. Bocage 321. Dave, do you like the Peterbilt 579? It's okay. The one I was in, I don't know if they're all like this, but the one I was in had a lot of plastic in the interior, and that kind of turned me off a little. Other than that, I liked the truck okay. I'd still choose the 389 first if it was for me, but I'm sure the 579 gets better fuel mileage. But not a bad looking truck, but I was a little discouraged by all the plastic in the one I was in. Million Miler, hello from Chicago. Hello, sir. Hello from the windy plains of South Dakota. South Dakota, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. I always like South Dakota. There's Roger Penske. You know, I haven't been down on the port grounds in a while. And we seem to be busy, but we suddenly have a number of bare chassis stacked up here in LA. So that's probably good for you, eh, Roger? You don't have to go into the port to get a container. That's probably a little handier, so that might be all right. Save you a little time and trouble anyway, but that's good. I know those ports are still busy. Josh Bulldog, hey Josh, how are you doing today? Dave, will you have a medical cart waiting for after the stream today? Yes.
No, it's a donut.
Yes, absolutely. It's a medical cart. Kathy says it's a donut cart. It's not. It's a medical cart. It's a water cart. Dave, my thoughts on this is Josh Bulldog. My thoughts on the big convoy. Josh, I'll be curious to see what happens there. Kathy and I are trying to find out the route so we can go out and wave and lend our support, but we haven't been able to find out the exact time and route yet. But we're working on it. And I wish all those guys well, man. I really do. I support them completely. Hello from Denver, Edward. Hey, Edward. Man, I heard you guys are socked in down there with snow. I saw that they had 70 West closed. I think it was yesterday for snow again. Here's Muppet, southbound to Sydney. Muppet's in Australia. So you just know the weather's nice where he is. I'm envious. Ryan Voss, which do you prefer, Dave? Quarter, half, or full rear fenders? I like the half fenders myself. I like the quarter fenders best for looks, but I find when I bobtail, I get paint chips on the back of the bunk. I like the half fenders best. The full fenders are nice, but there's more care involved in keeping a set of those good without, grinding them off when you're hooking up to a trailer or something like that. So I generally have always run half fenders and stuck with that. Controlled Chaos. How's the USA-Canada border going? I haven't heard anything yet, but it's getting close to the time when if the protesters coming out of the States can't get across, it should start to back up soon, and we'll hear about that soon enough. Yeah, Fred Besmer says the 579 are all plastic for sure, Tupperware Peterbilts. Yeah, that's what I found as soon as I hopped in the bunk, and the shelves even look like Tupperware buckets when you pulled the drawers out. Yeah, and Edward points out too, it's easier to get chains on with less fender. That's certainly an advantage of quarter fenders. It's sure easier to put chains on one of those. What was my favorite truck from back in the day? W900A Kenworth. They were my absolute favorite. Smart Trucking from Patrick. Love your videos. Perfect cautionary tales for newcomers. Well, thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. That's what we strive for. That's what we try to do to help out the new guys whenever we can. Ryan Voss says, remember, Dave, when Kathy brings the medical cart around, stay away from the little blue pill. No danger there. No worries there. Hello from icy I-94 eastbound in western Minnesota. Pretty part of the country. Sorry to hear about the icy stuff. Be careful there. Nothing good comes with trucks mixed with ice. Lettuce King. What are chains? Remember when we had to stop in Grand Island, Nebraska, and Dean Auger made... No, you wanted to buy chains to hang underneath the trailer, and then you wouldn't put them on in Wyoming? Those are chains.
Everybody in the streams heard that story.
I know they look good hanging underneath the trailer, though. Josh Bulldog says he likes the 389 for life. Good choice. Today's topic is which? Lettuce King, they are things attached to a ball. Those are the auto chains. We don't really have a whole lot of those up here. Why do you not want a truck and trailer with a bunch of lights? I like lights. If you get a good Grody system where they're warranted, I really like them as long as you can keep on top of them. But it's never the bottom ones that go out. It's always the top ones after a few years. You can never work on them on the ground. You got to get a ladder. Jimmy Savage, good afternoon. Sitting in Bedford, PA, getting unloaded before home time. Jimmy, I bet you that can't come too soon, huh? You're so close. You're looking forward to getting to the house. I know that feeling. Trucker Style Sean says he likes his FLB cab over. That'd be a cool looking truck. I wish you'd send us pictures of that. Love your videos. 55, retired. Is trucking still as good as a good fit as a second career? Yeah, Patrick. If you get with the right carrier, that's the whole battle these days. If you can get with the right carrier, it is a really good second career. Got my first glance at a new HX International, not bad looking trucks. That's from Jason Lokes. I haven't seen one of those yet. I haven't even seen a picture of one of those. I'll have to look that up when we get off stream here. So, International made some really nice trucks. I hope they hang in there and continue in the game. We were talking about this last stream, and now with Volkswagen owning them and buying them out, they've got a ton of financial backing. So it's good to see. I'm happy for International. Manny Breyer's at the Blue Beacon in Ohio. Good to have the truck clean. Good to keep the truck clean. Dave, do you like the International 9400? If you're talking about the old conventional Transstar with a monster hood on them, I liked those trucks. It was like you'd sit behind the steering wheel and look like you were staring down over the boardroom table at the highway. They had one of the biggest hoods in the industry at the time. If I've got the correct model there. Except for the Lone Star. Tim Field doesn't like the Lone Star. Which one's the one that we used to call the Batmobile? Isn't that the Lone Star? I think so anyway. Dave, how's the Peterbilt 389 plant doing? This is from Josh Bulldog. Josh, they're still all struggling for parts. None of them are really up and running to capacity yet. And it's going to be that way for a little while. Bookaz says it's the one that looks happy. So that's the Batmobile one. Michael Jones, 800 trucks coming through my town going east. 1,000 trucks coming from the west. Who knows how many from the States are packing into Ottawa, which is about the size of Winnipeg. Now, Ottawa is not a really big town. So if the number of trucks that has been reporting is accurate, it'll flood that town.
I thought I read 53,000 trucks, but I don't think that could be.
Yeah, that doesn't sound possible. But
well, it says the convoy yesterday was 70 clicks long.
Wow.
That's just the one. That's just the western.
It's going to be excellent to see anyway. I'm really looking forward to that. It's supposed to be in Ottawa Saturday, so I can hardly wait. I had a 2020 LT and loved that truck. Very well designed. Good. Why are we not talking about the Convoy? Leslie, we are talking about the Convoy. What do you want to know? We just want to know when and where they're going to be in North Bay. When and where? I guess that doesn't make sense. What time and day they're going to be in North Bay so we can run up there and hook up and lend our support. I had a buddy that used to drive a 2020 Lone Star with an X15 Cummins and a 13-speed. That's from John Burnham. That sounds like a nice setup. Hey, I haven't seen SoCal Sandman, speaking of the X15 motors. Dave, I was Mack. No, I'm Peterbilt. Josh, I know. You're having trouble making up your mind. Bulkus 321, yes, because those trucks are trash. That's from Million Miler. Hey, yeah, here, Lettuce King agrees with you, Kathy. He says they're in Vaughan tomorrow at noon.
I thought that was a separate.
But those are the guys coming from like Windsor-Sarnia area, right, Lettuce King? Because we were looking this morning, and the Western group was up in Kenora this morning. So they can't possibly make Vaughan by tomorrow. So we're trying to find out where they're all dribbling in from. Dave, they're stopping at Antrim in Arnprior on Friday. Is that? Yeah, I expect that there's got to be just a whole bunch coming down from North Bay, and they'll go through Arnprior. But I'm hoping to catch them in North Bay. How about your thoughts on the Western Star's big change, the 49X, which is pretty much a glorified Freightliner? That's from Jesse. Fred Besmer's son wanted to get one and was having trouble getting a hold of a new one of those, but I think they're an attractive looking truck. I like the Western Stars, and they were always like really nice inside. They always had a beautiful interior. So I like the Western Stars. I hope their production gets back up to where it should be. Robert Browning says the Convoy coming out of the west is now 110 clicks long. Oh, and there's SoCal Sandman. I'm sorry, man. His is an ISX, not an X15. My apologies, sir. My apologies. I do know that, too. Grilled Mortal, stay away from the mosey on in. Yes. John Burnham says 475 horse, 2050 torque. Brandon says the Convoy took 4 hours to get parked in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba the other day. 4 hours to get parked because there's so damn many of them. And Portage isn't a very big town either. Not a whole lot of parking there. So, yeah, I can believe it. It's going to be awesome to watch these guys roll by here. I'm really looking forward to it. From what I've been reading and listening, there are to be maybe 11 legs of the Convoy, all heading for Ottawa. That's from Murray Graham. Because they're all coming from different directions. And we know that there's groups of them trying to cross, coming up from South Carolina and other parts of the states too. And what they're saying is if they don't get across, they'll just screw up the borders. And that's fine with me too. How are the truck stops with sanitation? If you have any ideas, please advise. Rock USA up here, it's disgusting, to be honest. It's terrible. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth of the matter. Nowhere near as good as the USA truck stops. Have you heard what Chase Barber, a log truck driver for Merritt, BC, and his company Edison Motors, is doing, building a diesel electric truck starting with a retrofit kit on a 62 Kenworth? Joshua, I had not heard that, but I am looking forward to seeing the results of that build and hopefully finding some pictures. I'm going to remember that. Chase Barber. Huh. No. Oh, that sounds cool as hell. Mo's Trucking Journey. What are your thoughts on the two simple self-driving trucks and the December fully driverless test drive? You know, Mo's, that's I know that's quite an accomplishment for Too Simple. Mind you, they did this in the middle of the night with a police escort, and when the thing got to Phoenix, it couldn't back into the dock. But, you know, still they're pretty proud of that accomplishment, but it's in the reality of trucking, that is a long way from being able to have an autonomous truck as a functional machine in the trucking industry, because not all the freight moves from Tucson to Phoenix. Most trucks encounter weather and daytime traffic and all sorts of different things. So while, I can see that Too Simple, it's a feather in their cap, we're still years and years and years away before autonomous trucks are any sort of an issue on the highways here. It's just not going to happen, not in my lifetime anyway. But good question, Mo. I lost my Canada run over the vaccine, and my company just upped the border pay from $150 to $300. Jimmy Savage. Huh. This whole thing has put a lot of guys in an awkward position, Jimmy. I feel for you. I don't know what the answer is there, but I don't think that's fair. I think this should be a decision that's left up to every individual, and I don't think the governments should interfere with it. Million Miler. In Germany, electric trucks run on the highway with all overhead wires and batteries off the highway. I didn't know that. I haven't even seen, I've seen Scanias and Mercedes and stuff like that over there, but I haven't seen any running off overhead wires. I'll have to look some more for that. That's interesting. Brandon Munn. On the 29th, they're organizing to do a shutdown at the border in Sweetgrass, Montana. That's interesting. That's guys coming up trying to get up in Alberta. So a good place to set up too. Huh. Well, I hope that becomes a reality. Lettuce King. By the way, Dave, I drove the truck simulator with no problem. Nick is right. You suck. And that's from my friend, the Lettuce King. So thank you for the support, Lettuce King. Maybe you can come up and give me lessons. I think I need lessons with the thing, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So I mowed over a couple of Jersey barriers and a fence. Phase Inducer reads as early as 2027 for these autonomous trucks. I don't see it. They've just got too far to go. Edward says, Dave, when can we get an ATS video from you? Not in the near future, but I'm working on it. I'm not too good with it. Didn't Nick run into a cop on the simulator? Yeah, Nick had a few issues too, so it's not just me, Tim. Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it. Hey, Jonathan Mestral, any legal tips or tricks after only 4 hours sleep besides coffee or more sleep? Jonathan, if you're in the cool weather at all, crack the windows down. The fresh air will help keep you awake. That was a trick that I always used. But yep, crack the windows. And if you're down south, crank the AC. LK was running from the cops on the simulator. Maybe he was. I don't think you're supposed to run them over, though. I think that's against the rules. Sorry for asking randomly. Are the U.S. and Canada borders requiring drivers to be vaccinated and or have passports? Yes to both right now. Yes to both, and that's what the big fight in the convoy is all over. More of the vaccination than anything else. But yes, they are, and that's what the fight's about.
Fred Besmer has a question, and I'd like to answer it.
Okay.
Can I?
Hey, Dave, have you seen the produce rates from Yuma to Toronto as high as 10,800
I'd like to take that.
U.S. funds? You'd like to take which? But, Fred, Richard Pierce, you probably know Richard Pierce. I talk to him about every week on the phone, and he and I were crying about that. And the rates are huge all over. But isn't that something? 10.8 U.S. from Yuma to Toronto. Man, I almost ran out and grabbed my trailer, hooked it up, and went south. But yeah, great money. But they can't get the trucks. That's what the whole thing's about, is they can't get the trucks. Lettuce King, would you go to Yuma for 10,800 US? I bet you would, in a heartbeat. I might pop down and borrow your reefer if you're not using it. Autonomous trucks may one day become the next maximum overdrive. That was kind of a goofy movie, but it'd be funny to see in real life, except for the people getting run over. But what a crazy movie that was. What was the name of the guy that did that? But I bet LK Lettuce King was doing 100 miles an hour plus on the simulator and bypassing all the scales while doing an evil laugh. I was thinking about a Lettuce King story the other day, and he was reminding me how this went. But he was headed home for Christmas. The Lettuce King got pulled over for speeding in Wyoming. Told the trooper he was in a rush to get to the store to pick up what was that thing called, Kathy? A special doll for his little girl, anyway. And that was the rush. He was rushing to this store before they closed to buy this special doll for his daughter for Christmas. And the Wyoming trooper, was really good. He says, "Oh, okay, go ahead, just go, man. Forget the speeding, just go." What Lettuce King didn't tell him was the store he was shooting for was in Illinois, and this was back in Wyoming. So I felt kind of bad for the trooper, but typical Lettuce King story. Tickle Me Elmo. That was what the thing he was after. A Tickle Me Elmo doll. Are you going to get back on the road for a few months with your wife? Controlled chaos. Can't see it myself. We have a hard time just getting to Toronto and back in the car these days. But no, we'll bobtail the truck around for fun. Maybe go for pizza at Point of Barrel or something. But no, I can't see us ever getting back on the road. Tickle Me Elmo, Jonathan Mestro. Yeah, that's what it was. Josh Bulldog says the actor is Emilio Estevez from Maximum Overdrive. Stephen King. Isn't it Stephen King that wrote that script? But wild script. The fake SoCal Sandman talking about the Lettuce King story to the trooper. The fake sob story, priceless. It was like 1,000 miles out from the store doing 100 miles an hour. And the trooper never asked the right question. Feel bad for the guy. Steven Spielberg, John Burnham. It was Steven Spielberg that wrote Maximum Overdrive. Don't know. Would you ever sell the truck? That's from Kyle. Yeah, Kyle, I'm kicking it around. There's a few guys interested in it. I won't even think about it till spring because she's buried right now and parked with the batteries out and everything. But maybe in the spring I'll look at it. Like to get an old W9 and fix it up, but I don't have my own shop, so I could get the Lettuce King to do that for me. He does stuff in the driveway. There's your next project, Lettuce King. Find us a real long hood W900A. I'd even take one with a KTA Cummins. Is trucking not fun anymore? This is from Dan. Dan, I think it's still fun if you're with the right group of guys and with the right carrier. I think it's still got to be fun out there somewhere. I wouldn't. It's not like it used to be, certainly, but there's got to be some good times still. Knowing Lettuce King, he got there in 5 hours from Wyoming to Illinois. I think he was a little longer than that, but probably not a whole lot. Both sticks to the wall. Stephen King wrote Maximum Overdrive. That's the name I was thinking of, was Stephen King. He's kind of like a horror writer. Robert Browning. Autonomous trucks are a dream for the don't know that word, cyber attack. It's autonomous trucks are, and you know what no one is talking about with these autonomous trucks is still the fact that they can be hacked. And I guess apparently it's not that tough, but no one wants to talk about that. No, Dan, it's not fun anymore. That's why I left. I was sad and bored all the time. That's from, the real Big John Trucking. But yeah, it's not like it used to be, certainly. But in the last few years, we kind of had to create our own fun. But you were always in a rush. There was always, always somewhere you had to go. Lettuce King. I know of a long hood KW in Terra. In Terra? We got to talk more about that. I'd love to do something like that. And I don't have your mechanical skills, but I bet you could get it running. Have I ever seen a documentary called Sweatshop on Wheels? I read a book called that years and years and years ago, and I'd love to get a hold of a copy of that. Kathy might have that, but yes, I am familiar with the book. And what's sad is that book is 20 years old, and it was relevant then, and you can't even imagine the changes in 20 years. And it's for the worse. It's not been for the better. Josh Bulldog says Convoy's like the movie with Chris Christopherson. There was a good movie. Maximum Overdrive was filmed in my hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina. That's from Samuel. Well, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Kyle says someone could program an automated semi to crash right into a building hauling something like fuel. Yeah, I imagine the special effects would be pretty easy to rig up. Sweatshop on Wheels is unloading a trailer alone, grilled mortal. Yeah, I didn't have to do that the last few years of my career, but man, when I first got into reefer work, we hand bombed everything off and we hand bombed everything on. And I was a lot younger then, but I didn't care for it then. But we didn't want the weight of the skids on the trailers back then. And they were Shep skids. They were usually about 100 pounds a skid, and we hand bombed on and off so we didn't have to haul, a couple 1,000 pounds worth of lumber. That's why we did it.
Adam Bennett coming in with the 10 bomb. Thank you very much for that, my friend. Holy, that's a lot of exclamation marks. I-40 is messed up right now in New Mexico. 5-mile backups everywhere. Hope Amarillo is okay. Thank you very much for the 10, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Frost Nixon says, modern cars without those pesky autonomous driving functions can still be hacked. There are a lot of videos about people showing how they can hack a car system to engage the brakes and other things. Yeah, apparently it's pretty easy, which is pretty scary. If you think of, autonomous semis being controlled by other people, that's scary as hell. Tim says, thanks, Dave, for all the info you put out there. Tim, thank you for watching and following. We appreciate it. We enjoy chatting with you guys. CJ says, just got my CLP and start school 5 to 100 hours on log. Any advice? Take your time. Just go slow. Think everything through. Don't get in a rush. Don't let anyone rush you. Relax. Take your time. That's the best advice I can give. Tim Field. Maybe a convoy is starting in New Mexico. Well, at least they'd be in warmer weather. Well, not necessarily. Depends on where they were in New Mexico. But I always like New Mexico. Grilled Mortal says Wilmington, North Carolina is the home of the USS North Carolina. Now that's a cool fishing boat. That's a serious boat. That's a serious boat. Driver took a load across 4 states, drove 33 hours for $450. That hardly seems worth it, doesn't it? Yeah, get out and look. There's advice for the new driver too. Get out and look. If they've got you backing into a place, get out and look as many times as you need to, and don't care what the driver trainer says. Tell him why you're getting out to look. He can't crap on you for doing it safely. Dave, make your Pete a recreational vehicle and get a fifth wheel camper and tour the country. I thought about that, but I have toured the country plenty for all the time that I drove trucks. So I always hated camper trailers anyway. So I don't think you'll see me doing that. You'd see me bobtail to Florida before you'd see me pulling a camper trailer down there. But I've seen guys do that, and they go to the truck shows and that. But I'm not a camper trailer person. Dave, have you seen Swift person backing up into truck stop? Sadly, Bocage, I've seen that too many times, and I used to lose sleep over it when I had my truck. these guys backing in beside me. And I actually had one hit me in North Bay one time. It just no need for it at all. Just carelessness. It drives you crazy. And I hate that the driving schools use the truck stops for backing practice. That the truck stops should kick them the hell out of there. That shouldn't be allowed. Hi everyone, please pray for me as I am overwhelmed.
Carry on.
Tim Field, southern New Mexico is too flat. Once you get towards Colorado, it's nice. The girlfriend and I checked out Cheyenne this weekend. Think the girlfriend is leaning towards moving there now. Tim Field, I like Wyoming. I could easily live in Wyoming. It's too bad Shannon's not here to hear me say that, but he and I have had that conversation. I like Wyoming, and I could have easily lived out there. There's just a ton of space out there. That's what I like about it. Definitely still fun out here coming home from Mount Sterling, Kentucky. 64 East was following at 70 miles an hour along nose Kenworth, assuming owner-operator. Nice weather and felt nice cruising along. Yeah, it's nice to stroll, get out and stroll, isn't it? That was something I enjoyed. Just getting on the interstate and strolling out. I missed that. Hey Dave, love having these conversations with you guys. Have you thought about starting a driving school, or is that too much of a liability? I don't think I have the steel nerves it would take to start a driving school, let alone the insurance concerns. And up here in Canada, the insurance is just stupid. So no, I don't think you'll see me doing that. What do I think of the new Kenworth 990s driver BP? I'm not a big fan. I liked the 900A better than the 900B, and this 990 just looks like a big TransStar to me. Even the bunk looks like an international bunk, and I don't care for them so much. So, but Kenworth has done styling moves in the past that I haven't agreed with, and they still managed to sell them. But I think they went downhill from the 900A, and that was about the time I switched to Peterbilt. Dave, what's my favorite interstate? Probably I-80. I think I probably spent more time on I-80 than anything else. I liked like 40 to 20, but probably I-80 overall. There was one of the things I liked about I-80 was it didn't have the traffic on it that 40 and 20 did. And I like just being able to stroll along. Everything was 75, 80 miles an hour out there.
Jonathan, thank you very much for the 5 beans, my friend. Just got out of a 45-minute backup on I-81 just north of Knoxville. Pickup truck jackknifed and rolled over on dry pavement. Unbelievable. Thank you very much for the 5, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm just chuckling at the pickup truck jackknifing on dry pavement. You know, and I could just go on and on, you know, about how heavily patrolled and legislated we are. And yet they'll put these guys in four-wheelers that can't drive worth a poo and just let them go nuts wherever they want and create accidents left, right, and center. And there'll be no recourse for that. You know, the cop will just have them call their insurance company. Do I like the T600 or the T800 Bocage? Out of the two, but I think they're calling it the 680 now. I kind of like the new 680. It's a slippery looking thing. I kind of like it. If you ever want to reminisce, you're welcome to take me out, go out one of my cab overs. If you're in the States, Trucker Style Sean, I would love that. I haven't been in a cab over for years. Thank you, Trucker Style Sean. I would love to do that. Yeah, a lot of guys didn't care for the cab overs. As long as you got a good riding one, a good smooth one, I quite enjoyed the cab overs. And those things looked like trucks. When I was a kid coming up, that's what trucks looked like. I spent 18 minutes at Banning, California way station, just slowly crawling like it's a huge waste of time, but I got the green light. Hey, I don't know if Banning is as bad as it used to be, but anybody that got a green light at Banning was doing well back when I ran through there. And we actually would avoid that route because of Banning. And it wasn't so bad if we were headed east to go low, like out towards Hume or something like that. But like coming west and going into Banning, that could be serious bad news. And we used to avoid that because of that scale. Grilled Mortal says the K100 rules. That was probably, no, definitely it was my favorite cab over was the K100. And I like the flat top rather than the high bunk K100. Just like the look of it better. But the high bunks were huge inside. Dave loves the 880 Volvo long hood. I don't know my Volvos. I can't tell my Volvos apart. I don't know enough about them. Some of them I like the look and the style of it. I think it's the older ones. Remember when General Motors, when Volvo first came to North America, they were built by General Motors. And some of those first Volvos that General Motors built, I didn't care for the look of them at all. But the newer ones look nice and clean and slick now. But I don't know the different models. Do I like the 379 high top bunk, Bokash? I'm not crazy about it. No, like I've had a couple of those and didn't really care for them. If you had the second bed in them, it only folded in half. So if you sat on the bottom bunk, you'd hit your head on the top bunk. They were better without the top bunk in them at all. You could rip the top bunk out, and I like that better. And then you could have the window in the back too. But no, I was just never wild about the look of them from the outside. I guess I just didn't care for the lines of the bunk of those so much.
Lisa Marie Coleman coming in with the 5 beans. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. I experienced my GPS forcing me onto a route I didn't want to go on my cross-country trip. How do you handle going on routes that you don't want? Now, I believe usually just when you start driving a different direction than what the GPS already tells you, it'll automatically recalculate a different route for you anyways. At least ours does. But in terms of pre-planning, I guess there's really no way to know. But I guess I'll give the trucker man here some time to answer that question as well.
If it doesn't feel right, get out the map and follow the map. Because the GPS can lead you into some horrible nightmare spots. So if it doesn't look right or doesn't feel right, just anchor the thing and get out the map. Fred Besmer says we cross at Banning every week, and I'm assuming Fred that you never have any trouble there. But you guys are a high quality, high profile operation, so they probably just look at the name on the door and give you the green light. But you'll remember though, Fred, back in the 80s and 90s, that Banning could be a real challenge. And the inspectors got caught for spraying oil on the bottom of the oil pans and then citing you for an oil leak. And they got caught at that. So that's the Banning that I remember.
Now, am I wrong from our previous question here? When you start taking a different route, does it not automatically recalculate it for you anyways? Because ours certainly does.
Well, if you're following the route the GPS recommends, then no. But, if you decide you're going to turn off the route the GPS recommends, then often it'll recalculate, which is what you're talking about.
But is that not the same thing, though?
It's not always the best recalculation either.
But if you force it to recalculate 10 times in a certain direction, it'll still take you the direction of your destination.
Eventually, yes. If you just keep going the way you feel is right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking. Can you not use the best of both worlds to just take the main road that you want to take, and it will still take you to your destination? Yeah, you may have to overrule the GPS 10 or 15 times, but yeah. By simply just driving the direction that you want.
Yeah.
Raymond Dawson, thank you very much for the $5, my friend. Hope you're enjoying the stream today.
Yes, thank you, Raymond. Tim Field, 379, long hood, flat top, with the big axle up front the big heavy haul tires look beefy. Tim, I'm not a fan of the 14,000 pound steering axle tires. Lettuce King probably a little more used to them than me because of his construction work at times. But I like the 12,000 pound front ends. Roger Penske, I cross through Banning in both directions quite often. Every day, as a matter of fact, and they rarely have their pre-pass machine working. That's because they want to have a good look at you, Roger. And I would think that they would like looking at you guys hauling container chassis, because sometimes those chassis aren't up to snuff. I bet you Banning has got that figured out. If I do not get a red light in Banning, or I get nothing, which is usually the case, I just keep right on rolling. So, oh, really? You just go by the scale and they never come out and chase you. They probably go, oh, that's Roger, and go back to whatever they're doing. Lettuce King, Nick gave up on talking to Dave about technology.
He's advising.
Give up.
Oh, give up on talking to Dave about technology.
Good advice.
Yeah, probably good advice. Abandoned Belief says GPS is always wrong. It's amazing when you know where you're going, and the thing is so wrong. I've been running Garmin's, and generally I've had pretty good luck with them, but some of them aren't very good at all. And even the Garmin put me into a public school parking lot one time when I was looking for a cement plant. Have you ever been in a truck assembly plant on a tour? Years and years and years ago, Bocage, they had a Western Star assembly plant in Kelowna, BC, and we're talking like 1980. And I went there to that plant to pick up a brand new Western Star that the company that I was working for had ordered, so they needed someone to drive it home. And that plant, they just built them in one spot. There was no assembly line or anything. They sat the frame on blocks and just built the truck right where it sat. But it was all hand-built quality control, and that was kind of cool. I'd love to go in and see the Denton plant sometime. Apparently it's amazing, but I've never been in one of those, a plant like that. I'd love to go, though. Tim Field, I want the 14,000 pound axle if I ever build a W900A. They look so badass, and I want to do heavy haul, so pulling construction equipment locally. Yeah, you could do that. The 900A is not good in a tight spot, so I don't know if you'd want to use that for local work pulling construction equipment. But most of those guys just pull up to the side where the construction is going on and just unload the dozer or whatever. You don't have to maneuver into a tight spot, I think. Lettuce King would know better than I on that. Where am I here? Roger says, you're exactly right. Before the Korean Mafia bought our own chassis, those pool chassis were an absolute nightmare. And at the time, we did not have pre-pass either. So you'd be going around the back roads or running by at night with your lights shut off. Brandon Mum says, I use Google Maps on my phone, set the pins, and away we go. Works good doing heavy haul with multiple routes. Good to know. Good to know. Good advice from Brandon. Thank you. Maybe dreaming. Hey, you guys, Dave, do you think it's reasonable to buy a truck, maybe not this year, and run local or regional as an intermodal owner-operator with your own authority? I see those guys and wonder if they're doing okay. Roger Penske might know better than me, but all the guys that we have up here that run intermodal have to be leased to like CN or CP or something like that. I don't know of any that are running their own authority like that and doing very well. If you can get your own authority, and if you can find a port that'll load you and a customer, I would think there'd be really good money in that. In fact, there's a guy that we talked to that does that over in the Carolinas and the East Coast, and he's doing really well. But so yeah, maybe check it out. Check it out for your area to see if that's possible in your neck of the woods. Frost Nixon, the best way to perk up while night driving is driving along and coming up upon a trailer fire. Seen plenty of those. better than caffeine pills. I bet you that would wake you right up. I bet you that would give you a bit of a scare. Grilled Mortal, I saw a 73 Monte Carlo being built on an assembly line years ago in Oshawa. Yeah, Grilled Mortal, that I don't even know if they even use that plant anymore, but man, that was quite the place in its day, eh? Lone Wolf, my boss told me that he puts us on team loads and we're solo drivers. Is this illegal? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Lone Wolf. So have a look at the time that you're allotted to do the load, and if it's not enough time to do it legally, go in and reject the load. And if the boss doesn't like that, tell him, well, let's go talk to the local DOT, and they'll put a stop to that, because he cannot do that. He's risking your safety. Do not allow him to do that. No load is worth dying for. Rock Loves Jesus. Are you going to join the Freedom Convoy? If we can find it, we'd like to go down and lend our support. I'm not going to go all the way to Ottawa, but I'd love to show our support when it comes through this neck of the woods. We plan on doing that. Lisa Marie Coleman, what are your feelings on hauling doubles and triples like FedEx Ground does? Lisa Marie, I don't like those A trains in bad weather. Like, I pulled B trains a lot over the years and like them just fine. I do not like the FedEx Ground doubles and triples. And, they're probably all right if you can stay on dry pavement with them. But, unless you're working out of the Yuma terminal, what are the chances of that? So, yeah, I just don't like those things on anything but bone dry road. So be careful, Lisa. It's always those guys you see in the ditch first. When the road gets slippery, it's always the FedEx doubles and triples that slide off. Tim Field, I'd be in Wyoming. Their tight spots are like California's big spots. Yeah, there's no shortage of room in Wyoming, Tim. That's what I liked about it. Truckers are the greatest patriots. Leslie Ross, I'm sorry. I think we are among some of the greatest patriots there are. And one thing about truck drivers is the large majority of them just love their freedom, and that's why they do that job in the first place. So to rob them of their freedom or parts of their freedom, and no wonder they get upset, but they are. Truck drivers are great patriots. Good point. My dispatch let me go home early if the weather turns bad. I know he won't risk my life for a load of hides. Yeah, Tim Field. That's how it should be. It's only freight. You can calm a customer down with a simple phone call. Say, you know what, the roads are too bad. We want to get your stuff there in one piece. We'll be there as soon as we possibly can get there safely. And that's all you need to do. Leslie Ross, thank you for the flags. That's nice. Driver BP, in a W900 you say turn, back in where? That's not happening. The W9s got better over the years. The 900As were a great truck, but you needed a football field to turn them around in. The 900Bs were okay. The 900Ls started out okay and then improved with a new steering box and a repositioning of the axle and stuff. And they weren't too awful bad. And they improved the steering cut on the later 900Ls. But they certainly don't turn with one of the Kenworth 680s, that's for sure. But they're not meant to. They're not meant to. They're designed for a different purpose. Caffeine means you got to get caffeine every day or you get headaches. That's from Abandoned Belief. You know what? Kathy and I have been kind of struggling with that, wondering if that's the case or not. Some days we skip coffee and some days we're sorry that we do. And I get a headache. She doesn't, but it gives me a headache sometimes. What's the best gear ratio for northern Idaho? I'd like depending on the kind of work and the kind of weight you're pulling, I always think in terms of big rubber. So I think I'd probably like 370s for an application like that. Big rubber with 370s and an 18, I think would be a nice setup if you're doing northern Idaho. It should pull like Jack the Bear, and that's what you want. Get your DERV and expenses covered. Robert Browning. $5 million GoFundMe. Take the old gal for a spin.
That ain't me.
He's talking about the truck. He's not talking.
Oh, that's hilarious. Funnier after the stream.
That's funny, Robert Browning. I know what you meant, but
No, she didn't think that. Okay, start to wind it up. It's 5:02.
it's later than I thought already. So, I guess we should start to wind this down for the day. Scott Kuhn, I pull doubles for FedEx. You've been doing 19 years driving in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois. They're safe because he knows what he's doing. Well, Scott Kuhn, good job, man. Good job, because that can be challenging weather up there. So, you clearly know what you're doing. The old UPS gray fur bearing double jointed potbelly pig trailers pulled by a brown dog had great ground effects in the snow. I know. You have a way of putting things, Grilled Mortal. I know the trailers you're talking about. That's a funny way to describe them, but I know what you're talking about. You don't really see those up here very much, is the UPS low belly trailers, but there's FedEx goes by here every morning with a set of 8 trains every morning about 8 o'clock. So they're still pulling them up here. Tim Field says, I've been seeing a lot more 389s with stupid singles. Any ideas why? Tim. They're running out of parts. They can't get one of the biggest things they can't get is wheels. So if they can get a set of super singles when they can't get a set of ordinary wheels, they're probably sticking super singles on the truck at the factory just to get it off the line, so hopefully they can sell something. That'd be my guess. Well, where are we here? Anyway, I guess we should wrap it up for the day. I hope you guys will all be pulling for this Freedom Convoy that's going to hit Ottawa on Saturday. I wish those guys the best of luck. They're trying to get Trudeau to step down. I hope he does. I don't think he will. I'd love to see it, though.
Easy.
Anyhow, no politics. Take care. Stay safe. Keep the rubber side down. We'll see you on the back haul. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Take care.